Welcome to our community. Susie Thomas here with Carol Lichtenwalter. She's from Pegasus Farm. Good morning.
Good morning.
You know, as we're talking about special things about our community, Pegasus Farm rises to the top. What an amazing place. Tell us a little bit about, for the uninitiated, tell us a little bit about Pegasus.
Well, thank you. We are a therapeutic equestrian center. We're located in Hartville, Ohio, and our job and our work and our mission is to serve people with special needs. So people who have maybe a physical challenge, a developmental disability, or even a behavioral disability or special need, those are the people we serve, ages 3 through adulthood.
When I think of the size and strength of a horse, and then you're talking, even an able-bodied person sometimes can be challenged by that size and strength of a horse. It sounds a little scary almost to be putting someone with a challenge of some kind, particularly a physical challenge, on these animals. So they must be selected very carefully. Tell us a little bit about that and how you do that.
Absolutely. Well, we have 35 specially trained horses at our farm, and there is a selection process. Many of them are donations from the community who have horses and need to find a new home for them. But they have to go through a very rigid screening process, and then they have to go through special schooling before we will put anyone on their back.
Tell us about that. I'm very interested in that.
Yeah.
How do you train these horses? Because, boy, it's almost like they know they've got an important job.
They do. And I'm not the equestrian director for our facility, so I don't have as much of the technical answer for that. But what I see our instructors working very hard with the animals, determining that they have the right temperament to do the work that they do. And they do work at our farm. And they're loved and they're cared for and they're groomed and they're fed and all of that. But they also work with our students. We serve over 200 students every week.
Wow.
So they are in and out. But we have 35 of them so they don't get overworked. We have them in all shapes and sizes to fit the needs of our students. And they do everything from traditional horseback riding to carriage driving to something called vaulting. So there's lots of different experiences that the horses do. And they work with our students under the supervision of a certified instructor and with the assistance and help of many volunteers. We may have 3 volunteers working with one student to make sure they're stable in the seat. They may be walking on each side, and they may be leading the horse until the student just gradually gets more and more independent.
So I imagine that, like the 3-year-old you're talking about would go on, and there'd be spotters on each side. Yes.
Yes. And they're riding ponies. So you know, it's just it's very individualized. Each student is individually assessed and screened, and goals are established for each student, and they're assessed throughout the year, so that we make sure we're making progress and meeting the goals and intentions of the family for that individual, and also making sure the student's having a good time, because that's a big part of it.
Oh, right.
It's very special for these students to be able to say, this is an activity that I do, and this is my horse, and this is what I do. This is how I groom him. This is how I tack him. And you talked a bit about it being scary, and I think part of what we see with our students is the increase in confidence. Not only do they get physically stronger with the continuous exercise and regular exercise from horseback riding, but they also gain poise and confidence as a person who's just growing up. And when your life is handed you some special challenges, that can make all the difference in the world to you.
It's kind of the great leveler, isn't it? When you climb on a horse, and those who normally can use their legs, that doesn't matter. Those who cannot use their legs, doesn't matter, because all of us are relying on the strength of the horse.
Right.
And it's an interesting thing to watch, isn't it?
It really is. And many of our students who do have some type of physical disability, for instance, have never been out in the woods. And we've got trails in our woods, and the horse can take them places that they have not been able to go.
Wow.
And they also get to demonstrate their growth and development in horsemanship at our annual horse show, which is in August. And they all get to show their friends and family all the things they've learned throughout the year.
Oh my gosh.
We have some riders who've been with us 30 years, all 30 years. Many of them have been there 20 years. And it is just something that they love, and the animal connection is just very important to them.
When did you say that takes place?
In August.
And can anyone come and watch?
Well, it's primarily for our students and their families and friends, but there is an event that anybody can come to at the farm.
All right.
If I can tell you a little bit
about that.
Tell
us about that, yes.
We have something called the Family Fun Day.
Okay.
It's on Saturday, June 4th. And it is a time when we open up our facility to the entire community for a very family-friendly event. We have petting zoo, we've got pony rides, we've got inflatables, we've got magicians, we've got a reptile lady.
Oh, wow.
It's just a very, very fun, very family-friendly day. And you can bring a whole carload of people for $20.
Oh, my goodness.
There's no more expenses after that except for food if you want it. So it's just a day for us to introduce our mission to people who maybe know nothing about us. And it's for children and adults with disabilities, but it is also for people who want to volunteer. We have a small army of 200 volunteers who work with our students, care for our horses, help us care for our property, maybe take care of our gardens. There's many, many ways to volunteer at Pegasus Farm. So we want to make a time when we can just introduce ourselves to people.
Oh,
and
that's
just
fantastic.
enjoy the farm. Not everybody gets that experience.
Oh, no. Is there some type of training for the volunteers as well? Because I would
There
think,
is.
oh, my goodness, that sounds like so much fun, but I don't know the first thing about caring for horses, but I would love to learn.
Well, absolutely. And not everybody who comes to us to volunteer has a horse background.
Mm-hmm.
So we have once or twice a month, depending on the demand, we have a volunteer orientation. And you contact Missy Howard at our facility, and she would send you some paperwork to fill out, and you would come and do about 2.5 hour orientation. But you don't have to be afraid of being asked to do too much right away. We have a level system with our volunteer program. So you start out kind of doing very basic things.
Mm-hmm.
But as your interests surface and as your skills grow, you can do more and more things with both our students and our horses. So
sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, so contacting Missy Howard. Do you have a phone number or a
Yes.
website?
Absolutely. I can give you both. The phone number is 330-935-2300. And our website is www.pegasusfarm.org.
Couldn't be easier. Okay, pegasusfarm.org. And I'm sure that everything we speak about today, people can get more information by just going there.
Absolutely.
But let's get that on everyone's calendar. Saturday, June 4th. What were the times again, Carol?
From 11 to 4.
And remind us, you're in Hartville. How do we get there?
Actually, we have a Hartville address, but we are directly north of Louisville.
Okay.
So if you would take Route 62 toward Alliance and turn north or left on Route 44, we are right at the intersection of Route 44 and Route 619 that comes out of Hartville.
Okay.
So very easy to find.
And you can Google that.
Yes.
Get right there.
Yes.
Okay. You know, you have a unique opportunity to see the relationship that builds between these young people and in some cases, older people and their horses. What is it about horses that there seems to be something special that connects?
It's called ascension quality. And it is their horses are very intelligent and very observant, and they see everything around them, literally. They can just see everything. And they can sense your emotions. And so they know when someone walks in who's had a bad day. And so there's just a give and take between a horse and the rider that is... It's really very hard to describe. It's almost a spiritual quality in some cases. And there are some horses that have a little more of it than others. But our children just connect. They connect to the horse connects to them. and they love caring for the horse, grooming the horse, brushing it, learning how to clean hooves, and learning how to put the saddles on and do all the buckles and all of that. It's a very meaningful activity for them. And then to get on the back of them. And it just, for some of them, it is not just an emotional kind of experience, but for students that have very tight muscles,
Yes.
or other special conditions in their bodies, the warmth and movement of the horse is very therapeutic, and it actually helps their muscles relax. And we ride it with English saddles, and the primary reason is that it helps with the movement, feeling the movement of the horse, and also the warmth of the horse coming through. There's not quite as much leather.
How did we find this out? Because that is remarkable, but it's probably the last thing I would have thought would be the right thing to do.
Right. It's just been generations and generations of working with horses as working animals, as companions, all through history. And I know there's been decades worth of research on the positive effects of equine activity with people with all different types of special needs. And one of the things people don't understand totally about Pegasus is that we serve children who have special needs, but we also we work with teens who maybe have some life experiences that have left them with trauma or other things. We also work with veterans, and that's another population that we work with. And we have a program that runs on Wednesdays, and we have funding through Wounded Warrior and through other donors, so that veterans come totally free of charge. There is a fee for our services if families can afford it, but we also have a scholarship program so that we try to eliminate any barrier that anybody would have to coming and benefiting from our services. But our veteran program comes, and it is veterans helping veterans. So all of our volunteers are veterans, and they both horseback ride and carriage drive, whatever their preference is, and just spend time together supporting one another.
That's so wonderful. When does that take place?
That's on Wednesdays.
Every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday at starting at 11 o'clock, and they're usually done by about 1:30. And again, it is open. We have openings now. We could serve more veterans if there's an interest. So.
That's fantastic. You did mention funding a little bit. Tell us how you get your funding. People pay as ability to pay?
Right. You know, we have a fee for our service, so we do get money from those fees. We also have a very active board, so we do a lot of fundraising, have special events like the one on June 4th, and raise money that way. We have wonderful donors who donate to us. We have an annual giving campaign, and many people support us that way. We write grants and try to provide for our scholarships and our horse care through grant writing. And we also have an adult service program through the Ohio Department of Developmental Disabilities. We provide day services for adults who are needing those services and have funding for those services. And we have structured our program in a pretty unique way, I believe. They are actually our employees. They work for us. They get paid, and they provide important services to the farm.
We're speaking with Carol Lichtenwalter. She is from Pegasus Farm. Want to remind you to get this date on your calendar, Saturday, June 4th from 11 to 4. It's going to be Family Fun Day. You will not want to miss that. We've got more with Carol after these words. You're listening to Our Community.